They sit in silence, a few dozen souls, huddled around a dying fire, ash swirling in the wind like a memory that refuses to settle. The trees are skeletal, the sky bruised and heavy. They are the last of their kind for all they know. They do not speak. There is nothing left to say. The year is 70,000 BCE. Somewhere along the southern coast of Africa, a tribe of Homo sapiens, modern humans, has survived what many others did not. The rains have failed. The animals are gone. The sun no longer shines as it used to. For years now, the air has smelled of ash. Their ancestors once roamed far and wide, crafting tools, painting on cave walls, crossing rivers and dreaming under open skies. But all of that was before the darkness came. It was not a war, not a plague, not a monster in the night. It was the earth itself. The sky turned cold, the plants withered, the animals starved. And then, so did we, for a time. It seemed the story of humanity would end here, before it even truly began. But it didn't. Somehow it didn't. What happened to us during those years no one remembers. How close did we come to vanishing forever? And why did we survive when so many others did not? To answer that, we must go back, farther back, before the fire, before the famine, to a time when we were not yet special. There was a time, not long before the fire, when the world was full of possibility. We were not many, but we were clever. We shaped stone into tools. We hunted in packs. We painted with ochre and sang to the night. In the heart of Africa, Homo sapiens emerged, born not of sudden magic, but through millions of years of slow, grinding evolution. We were not alone. Around us walked other humans. Neanderthals in the north, Denisovans in the east, Homo erectus still clinging to corners of Asia. But we were something different. Something was stirring in our minds. We began to imagine things that did not exist. We saw animals in the stars, gods in the firelight, danger in the silence. We told stories, and stories changed everything. We expanded, from the Rift Valley to the savannas, from dense forest to arid desert. We built shelters, sharpened spears, attract herds across entire seasons. At some point, perhaps 100,000 years ago, some of us left. We crossed rivers, followed the shoreline, ventured north into unfamiliar lands. But the earth is not a gentle place. The climate began to shift. Rain disappeared, forests withered into dust. The animals fled or died. What began as a dream of expansion turned into a fight for survival. We had reached high. Now we were about to fall, and no one saw it coming. Thousands of kilometers away, across the sea, a mountain had been stirring. Its breath was shallow, its core molten. For years, maybe centuries, it groaned beneath the surface of the earth. Then it opened its mouth. The sky tore open. Mount Toba, deep in what is now Indonesia, exploded with the force of nearly 3,000 nuclear bombs. Ash rose 50 kilometers into the sky. The blast darkened the heavens. Rocks fell like burning hail. For weeks, the sun could not break through the smoke. For years, the earth would not be the same. A volcanic glass and sulfur spread across the skies. Temperatures plummeted. Monsoons failed. Plants died. The animals followed. And behind them, us. Famine took hold. Tribes began to vanish, one by one. Entire lineages lost. Mothers buried their children. Husbands buried their wives. And then no one was left to bury them at all. We call it the Toba catastrophe. But for those who lived through it, it wasn't a name. It was a sky that never cleared. A sun that never rose. A silence that never ended. Some scientists believe that after Toba, fewer than 1,000 humans capable of reproduction remained. Just 1,000 out of the tens of thousands who once roamed the earth. We were a breath away from extinction. When the sky cleared, there were almost none of us left. No cities to burn, no kingdoms to collapse. Just whispers of humanity clinging to the edge of the world. The world was colder now. Crops had not yet been invented. Fire was precious. And the game, the meat we needed, was dying fast. Most Homo sapiens had vanished without a trace, and yet a few pockets remained. On the southern coast of Africa, near the ocean's edge, one such group endured. They fished from tidal pools, gathered shellfish, found ways to survive when the forests failed. Modern genetics tells us something extraordinary. Every human alive today, all 8 billion of us, are descendants of a group so small, it could have fit inside a modern high school. Fewer than 1,000 individuals. It's called a genetic bottleneck. A sudden, severe reduction in population that shrinks the diversity of DNA. Imagine a library with thousands of books, and then a fire leaves you with only 10. That's what happened to our species, but the books that remained were enough. Inside those survivors, inside their bones, their blood, their stories, was everything the future would need. Your hands, your voice, your eyes. They all trace back to the firelight of that narrow shore, to people who could have given up, but didn't. We should not have made it. By every law of nature, we should have disappeared. A failed experiment in a brutal world. But we didn't. Somehow, somewhere along those darkened shores, we changed. We began to survive not just through strength, but through imagination. We made better tools, sharper blades, longer spears. We learned to hunt together, not as individuals, but as one. Wolves turned into allies. Fires turned into homes. We painted on the walls of caves, not just to record the world, but to understand it. We sang. We buried our dead. We told stories by firelight that turned into myths. Then memory, then meaning. The world was still dangerous, but we had something new. Culture, language, belief. Other humans walked the earth too. Neanderthals, Denisovans, and others now lost to time. But they did not do what we did. We looked up at the stars and imagined ourselves in them. They were no longer trapped. The children of fire and storm had endured, and now they walked out of Africa, out of the bottleneck, into the vast unknown, across deserts, through forests, over rivers, mountains, oceans. Wherever they went, they changed. They crossed into the Middle East, adapting to its dry winds and open plains. Some turned north, into colder Europe, home of the Neanderthals. Others turned east, into dense jungles and monsoon-soaked lands. Some crossed the sea into Australia, using rafts built from trees, guided only by stars and instinct. They met other humans, cousins with heavy brows and powerful frames. Neanderthals, Denisovans, ghosts of the hominin past. We fought some, loved others, and absorbed them into our blood. A few, tens of thousands of years later, would cross frozen land bridges into the Americas, following herds across ice. And they would carve a home there too. With every step, the earth was no longer a wilderness. It became a world full of stories. The earth wasn't just inhabited by humans, it became human.